Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are in the world. In keeping with the tradition in recent years, we chose one presentation for this annual meeting that was very much focused on art. And so in this case, it's art that is light and sound and coding directed. So let me say a little bit more about that before I introduce our speaker. teamLab is the arts collaborative who we invited to participate in this. And from their website, their purpose says, in order to understand the world around them, people separated into independent entities with perceived boundaries between them. teamLab seeks to transcend these boundaries in our perceptions of the world, of the relationship between the self and the world, and of the continuity of time. Everything exists in a long, fragile yet miraculous, borderless continuity. teamLab was founded in 2001. It is an international art collective. Their collaborative practice seeks to navigate the confluence of art, science, technology, and the natural world. Through art, the interdisciplinary group of specialists, including artists, programmers, engineers, CG animators, mathematicians, and architects, aims to explore the relationship between the self and the world and new forms of perception. Yamada Takeshi was born and raised in Tokyo. He has been the head recruiter at teamLab for over 7 years, leading the recruitment strategy from design to execution. His education, though, is arts focused. He studied English literature. His role at teamLab balances attention to the artistic, coding, and business aspects of the teamLab collaborative. teamLab has offered interactive light shows at museums around the world. I encourage you to explore them if you ever have the opportunity. In the meantime, let us see and hear more from Takeshi. Takeshi?
Okay, thank you very much. That was one of the best introduction I have ever had. And thank you very much for your kind introduction because you have once seen our presentation already. So you gave us the perfect introduction to everyone. So thank you very much, Aideen. Okay, so can I start my presentation?
Please.
Okay, thank you very much. And I saw Dr. Moon Soon-san from Yonsei. I have few members graduated from Yonsei. And so literally people joining this conference like everywhere in the world.
Oh, yes.
It's really excited. So I think my talk will be within 60 minutes, like a maximum, I think it's gonna be only 60 minutes. And after the rest of the 30 minutes, I'd be happy to do the Q&A or discuss about the topic of this conference. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
And sorry for a bit get delayed. I mean, a little late to join this conference because I just landed in Japan, coming back from Thai, and 15 minutes before I just took taxi, going back to home directly. So yeah, now I'm ready. So thank you very much, and let me share a slide. Okay.
At least it wasn't too many time zones.
Yes. It was really complicated for me. Okay, so here's my slide. So again, I'm Takeshi Yamada from teamLab's. Thank you very much for giving us this great opportunity to talk about our organization. Then, yes, this is the introduction which AD have given already. So let me give you repeat shortly. So we found our company in back in 24 years, and then we have been what we have been doing for past 24 years is we're trying to make a new kind of new experience by collecting a bunch of different people from all over the world, also people from different field, such as artists and engineers and animators, designers, mathematicians, architects, botanists. There are so many other members. And then when we talk about our experience, I said that, we are trying to make new experiences. So our experience can be divided into two sections. And then one is apparently we are making artwork. And the second thing I'd like to talk today is solutions. So it's to use in a different word to describe this is, art is art, by making new experience, and then experience, we hope our experience change the perspective of the people seeing the world. And then the solution is a little more than the approach of science, let's say. So there are so many solution, new experience we made, and then solution is a science. So when scientists discover the new thing, the world sometimes needs to change. The people's behavior change immediately. Sometimes it's going to be a good way. Sometimes it can be bad way. But scientists have a power to change the world immediately, quickly. Art is changing the power to change the world quite slowly, but in softly and kindly. So that's the two different things we are making. And then today I'd like to talk about the art first. So I'd like to have the similar understanding to everyone that what kind of art we are producing. Beginning of my talk. So art used to stick with the materials like this. When we draw the paintings, it's a physical work. So we put the paint and paint on the canvas, and we put the canvas on the wall, and then the audience will be able to see. This is how we experience artwork for past 400 or 500 years. But we aim to unleash the artwork from the physical materials to make let's say it's an immersive experience or interactive experiences to the audience. Why we want to make this kind of immersive experiences? Because it's quite natural for I think I can say Asian history. I'm not so sure, we have the other Asians in this Zoom sessions. I'd like to discuss about this, but if it's only talking about Japan, we used to make this kind of immersive experience from a long time ago. So this is quite natural for us to make trying to make this kind of experience, I think. So what the difference between this two-dimensional experience or the three-dimensional experience is? I think maybe we think this might be just our personal opinion, but we think this is a quite new style invented by European cultures and histories. It's to be clarified, this is not nothing. There's nothing like a good or bad things. This is just a bit type of difference. But I think this kind of experience, the people watching two-dimensional thing to watch kind of experience. This is started from European culture, I think. And then what am I talking about? What is exactly European culture is, people started to paint a picture, draw a picture from, long time ago. And then it's quite similar thing happening in our world right now, but it's always about, people try to make money, working as a job to make money. And then when science, new science technology appears in the world, people need to change, shift our daily work into the new version. And then when we look back to the further history, like 500-600 years before, there's a very popular, popular job, which is called like painter. Or at the moment, people didn't think that is an artist. The people think that was a painter. And the most most valuable job the painter can make is they needed to draw the picture, painting in a photorealistic way to memorize the people or memorize the stories. Let's say, at the moment, 600 years before, the painter's job is trying to draw the picture, photorealistic painting of the, rich people, or the painting about the religions to memorize and to, to share the story or the people to different, go beyond the time, time limit. And then, but therefore, after doing this over 100 years, one of the European people invent the new technologies, which is called camera obscura. I mean, let me just share one. What exactly camera obscura is? People invent something like this. So, before this new technology appears to the world, I know the painter trying to update the skill to draw the like super photorealistic painting by using perspective, just like as the pictures nowadays. But no, right after this technology appears in the world, there was no enough value to just draw the picture of photorealistic painting. So therefore, the painters goes into the new era. The painter try to draw the picture, something not photorealistic. Painter try to express, trying to share the new way of capturing the world. So therefore, new painters like, Monet or other new painters coming to the world. So it's quite similar thing happening in the world right now. So now we have a new technology is called AI. So people, the people work as an engineer needs to shift what we do for our daily work. And then let's go back to my topic. And then so this experience, people watching two-dimensional think about, to find out, to learn or find out by watching is invented in a new European way, I think. So even the European people design the space. I mean, when they design the garden, when they design the castle, it's not there's always perfect point of the view, sometimes king or queen, the room. If there is, but there's a perfect perspective. So people see at the perfect point without using body, without moving, you see the perfect picture. But like, compared to the Asian culture, like especially the Japanese one, when you go to the, Japanese garden or when you come to shrines, temple, there's not such a perfect perfect point of view. People wants to stay there. Like everyone wants to stay at the one point, in our space, even the space outside or inside, we expect audience, people to move our body. And in other word, we expect people to move within the space to find out their own perfect point of the view. So it's therefore we this is quite natural for us people. We expect the people to move their body to transcend the boundaries to find out their favorite location point in our space. So this is what we have been making. I was just showing this different sides. So this is the example for the space in Europe. This is the example for the space in Japan. And then how we trying to do is even the painting like this, if we use the new technology, which is a digital media or digital technology materials, we can unleash them from the canvas, physical this substance. So this is one example. So if it's a painting, but when we use digital media, we can unleash them from the canvas. The painting can move within the frame, or it doesn't have to be the frame. They can leave from the frame. And also, if we connect two different, borders, I mean rooms, they don't have to stick with even the one room anymore. So they can like, they're free to go anywhere. So they're just like moving autonomously by following certain algorithm. So this is the experience we want to make, from beginning. And then now artwork can be interactive, artwork can be free to go anywhere, and then therefore by making this kind of environment, there are certain specific concepts from us, like we expect visitors to to feel, maybe change their perspective to the world in a better way, we think. So I'd like to share how many concepts? I think I'm gonna share three concepts, I think. And then the first one is we call it the transcending boundaries. So we try to break the borders. I mean, like very beginning of the period of our company, we were trying to delete the boundaries. But now our concept going to little in a different aim. Now we're trying to delete the existence of the border in our conscious, I mean, in our brain. Because when we try to delete a border, that means that we admit that there is a border. So we want to think, truly there is no border between everything. So by following this concept, we made our first museum back in 7 years in Tokyo. And the museum named this borderless. We always named our museum quite directly connected to the concept. And so, as you can see, there are like around more than 60 artwork installed to this museum, and the size is around 10,000 square meters. So it's like a baseball stadium size museum, and then there will be more than 60 artwork exist there without having borders. So this is a good example to show you the bird. So bird can fly anywhere, bird can interact with any materials such as a human like us or the other artworks. So back in 7 years, like we were managed to make one space, one museum without having border. And the next challenge we have we did for past 4 or 5 years is we did make different borders in a different location in the world. So the second borders we made was in Shanghai. And then the third borderless was in Saudi Arabia. It's just opened last year. So the reason why we making the borderless in the different places, of course, it's not trying to make a money by installing similar making similar museums. That is not our aim. So we needed to have more than three different locations to make borderless museum because if there are more than three locations, we can make a kind of new experience, we thought. And then which is this is one good example for you to think, for you to share. So this is one of our projection animation mapping. So this animation is like moving and floating against the wall and never stop moving. They just keep moving. And then this is the look of when they were in Shanghai. And then sometimes this animation goes beyond the door. I mean, there's a door. And then this Shanghai animation goes beyond the door. Then the animation goes to Tokyo or Saudi Arabia or San Francisco sometimes. So this is not just a duplication of the data. It's like we were sharing exact the same visual at different locations same time. So when people in Shanghai touch this interactive with these animations, the location of the hand turn up this red color, and we people like in Tokyo, we can see their behavior through these artworks, and not just seeing both behaviors, we can interact with them through this media. And then once if the people in different locations, touch the hand, collaborate together, this space become more, let's say beautiful or interesting. And then at the moment, we only had two different borders, Tokyo and Shanghai. Our brain is kind of like smart enough, you can we can imagine like we are interacting with the people within the Asian people. Like I think about without having conscious, we think about the people in Shanghai. But after having three different locations, again, our brain is quite small enough, so there's no point to think about what kind of race, what kind of people am I interacting with through this out box. It doesn't make any more sense. So now through these animations, you can just enjoy interacting with the people, different locations in the world. So and then if there's no people interacting together, this animation cannot be interesting or beautiful enough. So we can appreciate the other person's existing in the locations. So this is the first example. Now we are trying to connect most of the artworks is to having borders. So this is another example. We have aquariums in the space, and then now I know this aquarium. The children is drawing the picture, and then the fish will be appears in the aquariums. And then sometimes if they feel like they want to go foreign countries, the fish traveling all over the world. So our fish goes to San Francisco, again Saudi, Macau, Hong Kong, Shanghai, and come back to the original place at the end. So literally, we are trying to make kind of new experience. We can appreciate the other person's existing in different locations. So that's the first concept we have in our studio, which is called transcending boundaries. And the second concept I'd like to talk is quite strongly connected to the first concept. So the second concept we came up with is in a text. This is we call it relationship among people. So if we could design the right interaction, maybe we can change the relationship between people to become a positive effects to each other. So this is a second concept. And then the second concept was came up with by quite accident when we did the first installation in European area, which was in London. And then this is a video we took from the accident. And yeah, this was like it's already I think 10 years before, yeah, 2015. So this was our really first exhibit we did in Europe. And in this time we brought our work called Flowers and People. And as you can see, there is the people and the flower exist together, like interact and exist together. Then the system of the interaction of this room, when you touch this flower, and I mean flower will be scuttling, they are disappearing. And another interaction of how you can make flowers, and when you here in this room without moving your foot, without moving your hand against the wall, you can make new flowers. As you can see, there's new flowers that start to appear. So I know right interaction, designing the right interaction in other word, maybe setting the right parameter for specific locations, specific size of the space, specific audience. So in this time, like we were kind of afraid, going back to 10 years before, like even my parents didn't know about what teamLab is. When I visit Europe country, and then when I told my friends like, "Hey, I'm working with teamLab, and have you ever heard of it?" And then no one knows. And so we set a very weak-minded parameter to prepare. What if for the first day of this exhibit? What if there's only very few people showing up to the exhibit? So we set the wrong parameter. And then I mean, for the first day of the exhibit, you know, this is the first 5 minutes after the opening the door. So we are very lucky and also unlucky. We have, too many visitors showing up for the first day, very luckily. So people never stop from moving in our space. So everybody's killing the flower, keep killing. And then 5 minutes, 10 minutes later, there was just like a blackout room. The people see nothing. And then therefore we have another lucky and unlucky. This man in this picture, he was quite angry. He was like having question like why we cannot see the flowers. And then that was one of our really embarrassing moment. But we told him about the system. We excused him about the reason why we cannot see the flowers. And then we told him like people is never stop moving. People keep killing the flowers. So that's the reason why we cannot see the flowers. And he was such a strong man, like he started to communicate with the people around him, like saying, "Hey guys, if we keep moving in this space, or if we don't control the density of this room, no one is gonna see the flower today." And then right after that, he encouraged people to, collaborate together. And then the people in this room started to collaborate together. And then someone is doing, keep the hands against the wall for a few seconds, or someone try not to move. And then after 5 minutes, 10 minutes, and the space flower came back, and then the people in London doing hi-fi and then leave this room. And it was super, the atmosphere was super optimistic. It was great, one of the great um, timing we could see from doing the exhibitions. But this was an accident, so we wanted to do it again and again by, the experience meant to be like this. So let's look for another example. So if you see traditional artwork doesn't have interactions, this it's very difficult for us to think, it's happy to share the one experience together. It's in this occasion, it's very difficult for us to think we are happy to have different people watching Mona Lisa together, because she doesn't have interactions. We want to occupy this area by alone, to watch her quite quietly, and you can take a picture, whatever, like how much you want to take. That's the best experience you can make through the artwork without having interactions. But if we design the right interaction, this is another example. So in this space, there's an interaction. Water and flower is interactive to the audience, and then the other art works together. So when the people, she's standing in front of everybody, so she's now able to. She's enjoying watching the most beautiful water particle than everyone. But these people standing behind her doesn't. They don't have to hate her existence because
Takeshi, we're
oh
only
maybe
seeing we're seeing a
okay.
blank screen right now. We're not seeing a
Okay.
video.
All right. Sorry. So maybe I wasn't able to show you the picture. This is the experience you can make between having interaction with the space. And then this is another example from our space. The people. This is the her like I was talking about. She's standing in front of everybody. She's watching most beautiful water protocol. But these guys doesn't have to hate her existence because it's happy for them to have this person standing in front of everybody because she's spreading the water. And then if there's no water, there are new flowers to bloom. So as a result, this female is enjoying the combination of the water and flower. That's because she has this person standing in front of her. So this is the right interaction we try to design. And then when you come up with exhibitions, there are like many family business. 30% of the business is like family business. There are always like young kids playing with our artworks. They never stop running. They never stop touching the artworks. Sometimes they attack too much and then break our artworks. But unless if they don't break our artworks, we don't have to hate to see their behavior. Sometimes when you go back to traditional museum, sometimes children is making noise, so the other people think their behavior is like annoying. Sometimes traditional museum doesn't accept the children's visitors to enter even. So if we could design the right interaction, we can appreciate any kind of behavior by the children's in a space because their moves actually making a museum to become more beautiful, more interesting to even our adult audience like us. So, and then the next picture is quite another funny example. So when we did this installation in London, like, going back to 10 years, we go back to the venue like every morning before open the door to check the final tech check. Then, if we check the sensors working okay or we check the computer working okay. And then when one day when we go back to this flowers and people exhibit, there's only one place, one spot, fully bloomed with the flowers. So we thought it might be a bug or error for the sensors or computers. But when you look at this picture carefully, there's a old old man like sleeping on the floor. So he's one of our engineer member. So he was in charge of like updating this our animations. And as we remember, like yeah, he didn't come back to the hotel for I don't know 1 day, 2 days, something. But when he finalized this project, he didn't have energy to come back to the hotel. He just sat asleep on the floor. And then if it's a traditional museum, we have to wake him up immediately and kick him up. Otherwise, the real audience will be entered to this room, and then people. don't want to see all the people without taking shower, sleeping on the floor, kind of thing. But as our on let's say as our site, it was if you look him like from the specific distance, it was beautiful. So this day we didn't wake him up, and then we just opened the door for the London people, and then we wanted to see what's the reaction by the Londoners. And then it was as a result, it was quite positive. People in London, when they entered the door, they found one place with the flowers is it's full bloomed because he's sleeping. He never moves. So there's like full of flowers. So people try to take a picture, getting close to him, and then 1 meter, 2 meter away from him, the people recognize there's a old man sleeping on the floor. And then London people was like, wow, but like wow in not a negative way. It was kind of like can be positive way, and they still keep taking picture. And when we opened the Instagram on that day, like people, I saw lots of the big picture of him like hashtag with like a beautiful man, a flower man. He wasn't beautiful enough, but if there's a right interaction, any kind of object, any kind of people's behavior doesn't need to be hate by their audiences. So this is the second concept. When we could design the right interaction, we can change the other person's existence to become positive to each other. So that's the second thing. And the last concept of the day is kind of a new concept. We came up this concept around 5 6 years before, like, or after the COVID period. This is our biggest curiosity right now. So the newest concept is this. So we name it environmental phenomena. Why we started to think about this concept after the COVID period is the really beginning of the COVID period, it was super scared, right? And I mean, very beginning of the COVID, every country is shut it down. I didn't want to take a train, I didn't want to go to the bar because I like drinking every day, but I could, at the moment, that was the only moment I didn't want to go bar because I didn't want to be die. That because bars is super scared. But at the moment, every time we discuss about the new curiosity to makes as a concept. So at the moment, like in our studio, we started to discuss or just chat why we need to afraid of the Paris, because some of our members said people afraid of something unknown, some we cannot predict their moves, and why we think virus is an unknown thing to us is maybe there is a border between, scientifically there was a border. So virus is non-living things. And then the animal like us, human, dogs and cat, shark, they are living things. We are in the same categories. So as long as we are in the same categories, we can be safe. We can feel a little more safer than uh, different categorized. So, scientifically, birds is not belongs to our categories. So maybe that is one of the reasons we are afraid of the birds. It's unknown. They are different to us. But when we look carefully about their behavior and how they move, it's quite similar to the other animals. Human being, dog and cat, shark. We wanted to maximize the number of the family member, right? Once if they get attacked by the other animals, we become slightly stronger. We make our body to become a little more stronger. So Bars is just behaving like this, like nothing is really different to the other animal. We think it's in the same categories. So therefore, if we could make some artwork exist there, behave like the animal, like living things. But apparently, it's not living things. But if we can manipulate them and if we can understand their moves, if we can control their moves, maybe we can understand non-living things better. Then we don't have to afraid of the virus. So that's the original conversation we had very beginning of the COVID. And then, yeah, we started to make a new artworks list by following this concept. And then the first try we did it is we try to manipulate the clouds. And then this one looks like this. So in this room, in this concept, we are not making artwork as by using light sources. I mean, we used to use projections, LED lights, laser lights. We used to use light sources to draw the pictures a lot. But in this concept, this cloud itself is not an artwork. The environment to let the cloud to be there as long as our environment exists. So entire this environment makes certain phenomena or makes certain order of the energy in this space. This is our work. So people can interact with this cloud. When you interact with the cloud, you can break them. If you attack them, they destroy the ones. Falling down to the floor. But as long as this room exists, they will be coming up in the middle of the room. And then another negative environment thing for the cloud is if there's no animal, the other animal exists together, they just like are becoming too big cloud and then going up to the cells. So it's again too high is also not happy condition to them. So we need to collaborate with other animals, but the other animal attack them too much, they die. So it's all about the balance. It's just as the nature in the world. So that was a first try. The second try, we tried to use the water and then using this phenomena called cymatics. Cymatics is an interesting phenomenon. When you put the sound, like big sound, on the surface of the water or sands, we can visualize the sounds. So it's really fun phenomenon. And we utilizing this phenomena to make a second creature. And then this was our second try we did. So it looks like a more creaturistic object, right? And then this is just natural water. If you want to drink, you can drink, and you can touch. Of course, there's no special things about this water. So we put the sound on it, and then if we put the sound to the water, the specific point they're shaking, they get shaped by the sound. And then our laser light is going to shoot the laser to the light angle to the exact location where the water is being shaped. And then again you can interact with them, but like if you interact with them, that means you are attacking them. So if you interact with them too much, you can destroy them. Like this kind of like quick touch, it's okay for them to live there. But if you like walk into this water, you are literally stopping. But if they are no longer available to live in a certain point, they just relocate. And then as long as this room environment exists, this like amoeba-ish creature will be there for forever. And then this was one of the newest artwork we just installed 2 months before in Middle East. So in this room, there's a uncountable silver ball-ish object, and then they are making sculptures by following certain order of the energy in this space. And then you can be a part of the sculpture or you can break the sculptures. But as long as if this environment exists, the sculpture is changing their surface, but they will be there like for forever. So this was our newest concept. Right now we have been thinking more seriously right now. And then by following this newest concept, we just opened a brand new museum in Middle East, in Abu Dhabi, and the museum looks like this. So this museum, literally, it was the biggest project we have ever had. So we spent 7 years in total, and then the budget is like the biggest, and the size is of course it's the biggest. So it's 70,000 square meter, 17,000 square meter. So it's bigger than the baseball stadium. And this is a picture we took back in 2 years before. So 2 years before, we were still constructing the building. And after completing the building, we install the outer boxes. We do the adjustment. We do update on site, spending 1 year, 2 years for each outer boxes. And then we just opened 2 months before, and it was one of the tough project we have ever worked on. But this is the topic I wanted to share today. I'm in the art part. So there are always our curiosity or let's say the concept. We expect audience to change their behavior or to change their perspective through our experiences to make uh, to make a little more better, happier world. That's our aim and reasons of why we are making artworks. And then yeah, that's the thing I wanted to share in our art point. So another 15 minutes, I think I'm gonna talk about our science field. So the topic is going to be changed like quite quite massively. So be prepared for it. So in a solution project, I mean, let's say it's I can say it's a client work. So we have lots of um, different clients from different industries. So the different clients have different problem always. And then, by the solution project, we are trying to make the new experience. And then if we new experience to the user and the end of the user. And then when we once release, I don't know, launch the new experience to the users, we can change the user's behavior in a better way quite immediately. So this is a solution project. So I'm gonna show you some example. This is one of the biggest project we have been working on for past 5 years. So Japan Post Office, I think it's not only in Japan. When you go to the public offices like City Hall, the procedure is quite stressful. You have to 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 write an uncountable paper just shipping one box of the packages. And then we are trying to digitize the Japan Post Office in entire Japan. So this is one of the big challenge. And maybe some of you might like KFC. KFC is our clients. And Muji is also our clients. When they release launch a new project in overseas, we are a partner of making new experience or taking care of the promotions. And sometimes we develop even the hardwares because we have hardware engineers in our studio. So this project started in 9 years before, so it looks like not a special nowadays anymore. But let's imagine this vending machine in almost 10 years before, it was quite new. So the vending machine then used to be vending machine is a really popular hardware in Japan, especially in Japan. So you find everywhere in a station, in a city. So, but the biggest problem we thought of the vending machine or all type of the branding machines, they are selling the product like uncountable millions of the product every day, but that hardware couldn't get the data of the sales data or the data of the user. So they're just the box, just like providing the drinks, and then how the drink, I mean the vending machine owner control this stock of these drinks is just like following the knowledge of part-time worker around this area. So maybe after part-time worker have enough experiences, he knows like how many Coca-Cola Coke needs to be put it in this box to not be in sold out. But it's quite old type. So we wanted to digitize the vending machine. That machine allows us to collect the data from users and drinks. And then I think the last project I want to share within our solution project is this one. This one is uh what is the English for it? It's the school for children's, you know, elementary school before high school, you know, before high school, elementary school, junior high school, or something like that.
Yes,
So
it is
um
elementary. Elementary schools,
okay,
correct. Yes.
great. So the children's will be spending here like from their around 9 years in this school. And then the problem with this project is not only the thing existing in this local area. Okay, let me share about this area first. Information of the area first. So this is a very suburb area of Japan in Hokkaido. It's the north part of Japan prefecture. And as you can see, this town is quite small size. So the population is around 7,000 people live here. So only children amount of the children is quite few, amount of the other people is quite few. All the people Yamada is quite a lot. So this is same project happening. Let's say in Japan suburb area. This is a like common problem we are facing. What was what exactly the problem of having few population in in one town, especially for children, is we thought amount of the information or quality of the informations is quite can be limited depending on the condition of their family or condition of the school or teacher. When children you know meet with rough condition of the family, and then maybe what if their teacher is not a good teacher, spending 9 years, they're very important timing. Maybe they cannot get um, very few informations or experience by adult living close to them. So we wanted to solve this kind of project. So by thinking about this, how we can solve this problem, we designed a school which is connected with the public space in a city, in a town. So even if it's a small town, there are many public spaces such as a library or music studio, park, or city hall. So it's like everything, every space is existed independently, and every space is being used uh, by only few users. So we literally connect the public space to and then the school, and then to ensure at a certain function where the citizens and the student exists here. So in our space, this is I'm sorry, it's written in Japanese, but this just to makes you better have clear imagine of the school. So the yellow part is something like music studio, kitchen, and arena for gymnastic, and the kind of like city functions that the children's and student using daytime. And then this yellow part can be shared by the citizens after the school hour. And the blue point, it's a library, and there are little functions, but this blue space is open to public anytime. So, and then, within this borders, I mean, there's a door, I mean, skeleton door, I mean, glass door to citizens. And the other gray part is just a school that the citizens cannot never be allowed to enter. So there's a two door in one functions. And then after the school hour, if the citizens get certificated by the system, and then if they make reservations, they can use the school functions in quite cheap price or can be free. So, the door is like controlled by something like IoT systems made by us. And then I hope there's a video I just took by the school the last time I was here. Oh yeah, there's the video was in different slide. Let me share different slide once. And this is a video. So this, a few months before I had a chance to visit the school, and then we just take a video in a random timing. And this is the school. We opened this school 2 years before, and then now citizens. It is a library, part of the library. So people like having a baby, helping each other every day, and then all the people they are like literally always here, like without having purpose or not, with have a purpose. But sometimes children is reading the book. Sometimes they cannot read specific kanji. It's a Chinese character. They can ask the elder people sitting next to them, and then and all the people is kind of like appreciated this support, help the childrens. And then when after the school hour, when you walking past in front of the music room, there are sometimes there's a rock band, local rock band practicing the music. So that provide children to see, hear rock music for the first time. This might be their first opportunity to get interested in playing the music, something like that. So this is our it was a little big project for us. I mean, we needed to design the space needed to connect with the digital medias, the space needed to controlled by the IoT systems, well, we opened this school 2 years before, and then we just collecting the data, seeing the behavior of the citizens and childrens. And then if we could get the solid, trustable data by operating this school, maybe we can install the similar or same system, different locations to the Japan or maybe to the different countries even. So this environment maybe provides future children to provide them to get the better opportunity to encounter with the new and better and interesting informations through their daily life. We are not trusting, we are not relying on the quality of the school or not relying on the quality of the teacher because it's going to be quite random. So we want to make a environment. The children will be, collecting the information quite randomly, but like they can collect the information, through their daily lives. That was, I mean, one of the most interesting project for us. And then and I have shown you few example of our solution works. And then so in my talk, I wanted to share, Team Lab is making art and solution both. We're trying to make a new experience by using our digital technologies, digital medias to make new experience. We expect art is changing the world into the better way. It takes quite some times, but we believe our new experience can change the people behavior in even in a little, but we're expecting that makes happen in the world. And the solution is more scientist. And then after we release the new function to the users, we can change their experience or the behavior of the user quite immediately. We hope it's in a better way, especially. And then at the end of my talk, I'd like to share our structure as a company. So Team Lab, we only have one workspace in Japan, Tokyo, and then now we have the members of 1,100 member, and the 50% of the member came from overseas, and then the percentage of the the team, 70% of the member came from like engineering team. We have like bunch of different engineer team existing this majority of this our company. And then we have Catalyst team. Catalyst is let's say it's a project manager or director, but director or manager sounds like a boss. So we didn't want it to make the kind of name of the position. Our Catalyst team is not just giving the order to the engineers or designers. Catalyst is gonna be the hub to you know to accelerate the project or make the better quality of the project by make collaboration of engineer and designers. And then we have designers and animator team here about 10%. And then rest of the few members operating the company. This is the structure of Team Lab. And then again, I took a video of our studio. And this is our studio in Tokyo. So there's no, again, as you can see, there's no border. So when you stand at the entrance of this our office, literally you can see who is talking with who and what is the topic within the project. So, the sharing information cost is quite super low in our studio. It's quite free to collaborate with different persons, different members. But every time we make one team for one project, and then team is executing the project, and at the end of the project, our co-founders is in checking doing the quality controls. That's how we work. Yeah, and then I guess these are the thing I wanted to share today. So we have 27 minutes more. So if there's any questions, I'd like to go into the Q&A sessions if you have questions. But before going to the Q&A session, thank you very much for giving us this great opportunity to talk about our organization, even from your early morning. But thank you very much. I'd like to talk about the thing, chat with you later.
First, I just want to say thank you and invite the others to join me in thanking you for this
Thank you.
presentation. Very exciting. And I promise I won't take up the full 30 minutes on asking you questions of my own. though I could ask you questions for 2 hours and not be satisfied. Um, um, so we'll have room for the others to ask questions, but I'm going to take the moderator privilege and ask you the first one.
Mm,
Um, when you are coming up with, so let's say another museum wanted to participate
mm,
in the borderless project and, expand you from 3 museums to 4.
mm,
Um, how would you, who among that team of 1,100 people that you just talked about,
mm.
which ones get to have a say in how we manifest the borderlessness in this place, anew, afresh?
Uh-huh.
We've done X, Y, and Z in Shanghai. We've done this in Tokyo. We've done this in Abu Dhabi. What do we want to do with it in Mexico City? Uh,
Okay, so
how
uh
does the collective come together to make something new happen?
okay, great. That's a great question. Like the one thing, the first question is like how we, select which concept should be installed to this new project or something like that, right? There's nothing like a romantic process. We always have the biggest curiosity and in our mind. There's always biggest most prioritized curiosity in our studio. So right now it's making the environment to make certain phenomena. That's our most curiosity. So, if we receive the project in Mexico right now, and the space is enough, budget is enough also, I think we'd like to make some experience exhibit museum by following the newest concept, I think. So at the moment, borderless experiences, it was like happening quite coincidentally. I mean, continuously. So, we that's not the meaning, I mean, we lose that motivation to make borders is something different. We learn from making, when we were quite enough to understand what's borders experience. And then we not maybe next concept is a little related to the previous one. And then, our curiosity is not going to the different way, but it's connected to each slightly. And then our curiosity is moving forward. So that's how we, select which concept should we do for the next project, something like that. And how we collaborate with the members, I think there's a nice slide. So, for example, when we want to make this kind of installations, I mean, before making this work, the thing in our brain is, we wanted to make the right interaction, which the audience can be appreciated by the other person's existence. That was the thing we were in our mind. At the moment, very beginning of at the moment, we had no idea what kind of experience, are we gonna use projection mappings? Are we gonna use, hardwares? And then, but we did let's say brainstorming. We spend sometimes chatting with the members. What about this project? What about this project? And then when someone put let's say a good idea on a table, we make a small prototype, and the prototype looks nice. We make a better version. And if we keep doing this, and then that sometimes the project quality looks enough to be seen by the real audiences. So we just install for the first version. And then for the next time, we update the existing projects for the version 2 and 3. And then, so this is how we collaborate. So making concept, thinking about the experience, and the experience can be explained by one of our members' word. And then we can think about which member we need to be involved with making this project. So this case, we use animations. Animations to interact with the audience. So we want to make interactive animations. Therefore, apparently we're gonna need animators making animations. But this one is pre-rendered, so it's not interactive. So we want to make them interactive. So therefore, we ask computer vision like sensor team they're asking like, "Hey guys, please do the objectivity detection in our space." And then they say, "Okay." And then they put sensors in the corner of this room. And then now we can do the data, getting the location of the data in object in the space. And then, combining to these informations in game engine like a Unity, and then within the game engine, there's a waterfall moving, and there's a location of the object from computer vision team. And then when the water hits to this object, water needs to react. And then this reaction is designed by this team. And then, of course, when we want to make sound, we ask sound team to be involved with this project. And we don't need a hardware engineer in this project, but if it's necessary, we ask them. And then these are the guys thinking about the space. So when we need to make our own museum, we ask architects to design the building. And we don't design the building itself. We only need to care about the space inside. We have Catalyst member who have a responsibility to maximize the quality of the project. So this is how we collaborate. But thank you for asking.
Very cool. Um, Mary asks a question in the chat.
Sure. Yeah. Let's go to the shop.
Very simple question. Your organizational chart included a botanist. What does the botanist do?
Wellness is literally doing, taking care of the plants in our space. And there's one funny project even in this slide, so I'm gonna share about this one. I'm gonna share the beautiful example first. So in past 6 years, have we have been using real plants or flowers in our space quite often. And then this is one of the good example. So in our Tokyo Museum, there's one space filled with filled with orchid. You know, we have been doing this work before, I mean, past 10 years or something. But before we have botanist team, our amateur people trying to understand the flowers, and then the best condition of the flowers to live longer. But it wasn't, our knowledge is really not enough. So sometimes we spend not necessarily long time to do the research to make, even we had no idea the condition is it becomes the best condition for the flowers or not. So if we have a botanist, we can rely on their experience or knowledge. And then another example in the real life of our botanist team is going back to the slide. And then recently, we have worked on the project in botanical garden. So it's a real garden, and then this garden project is permanently. So a permanent outdoor museum is really really difficult to maintain. But since we are going to do the project in the real nature, we wanted to make artwork which is interact with the real nature. So this is a good example. This one is interact with the bird in the window in the real time. So we make the application of sensing the bird, sensing the window, and spending 6 years to develop the applications of sensing the bird, sensing the window to make animations. Then we right after installing to the real venue, we just recognize there's not many bird because this location is Osaka. It's a city, so we spend like 6 years of developing the applications was in south part of Japan in the mountain. So they were full of natures. They are full of bird flying every time. So we faced quite like serious project. We developed the application we can make interactive with the bird, but the point is there was no bird. So we ask bird professor out on our company, asking about the opinion and then how we can solve the problem. And some of the professor suggested us maybe in the west part of Japan, this bird can wanna eat this kind of feed, I mean bugs or food. And then we just nowadays our botanist team is trying to put new trees around the sculpture. And then when it's we opened this botanical garden like 2 years before, and then now the trees and plants is growing a little bigger and rich. So now the amount of the bird coming into this botanical garden is like going increased. So at the end, our project is like really related to the nature at the end. So this is our daily life, I mean, work by the botanics team. But thank you for asking.
Thank you. Other questions? Okay, well, I'll ask more until I see someone. Oh, Mary's asking, do you have any installations in the United States?
That's a good question. Like, we have done temporary exhibit, temporary project in the States quite sometimes. Like the last time we did was 2022 or three in San Francisco, and then we always look for like I mean partner and sponsor that we can make. Hopefully we can make permanent project in the States. But it's I don't know why, but it's always difficult for us to find the partner. Maybe I don't know. So we are we always wanted to make the one in the States. I mean, North America, but we couldn't find enough space and budget. So in this people in this session, if you know rich friends, please introduce me.
Well, it's interesting. I could think of so one of the things that's happening in North America is we're seeing a decline in church attendance, at
Mhm.
least in the Christian context, and thus there are some large buildings
All
that
right.
that are getting ready to be repurposed. So
Mhm.
I'll make sure that someone involved in that field is aware of this possibility. But I'll say to the rest of the group that my first experience of teamLab was when I was in Singapore, and
All right.
um, yeah, in 2018 it was a fairly new exhibit, I think then. Um, and I will say that some of these exhibits work best in very large spaces.
Yeah, I think so.
Um, so yeah, and there, I mean the interactivity and being able to touch things and have the
Mm.
artwork react to one's own touch is just special, I gotta say. And then to have the children creating the image in the presentation was draw a child in uh I don't remember, Shanghai, maybe drawing a fish, and the fish gets fed into a scanner, and before you know it, the child's fish is swimming around the exhibit with everybody else's.
Hmm.
So that kind of thing, though it tends to be more spacemen in the
Yeah, I think so.
Square exhibit, um, is
Like currently, I think the minimum size of the space we require to make, permanent new project. Uh, Ideally, it should be bigger than 10,000 square meter because we have experience. We one of our permanent project in Tokyo. We started with the size with 3,000 square meter beginning, and at the moment we have open. I'm not sure the information. I mean, the museum is the same one I have shown you. The one is this one, Tokyo Planets, and the other one is Tokyo Borderless. And these two museum open quite similar timing. And the Borderless had 10,000 square meter, and Planets was just like 3,000 square meter. And then we just like to renovate this Planets Tokyo. I mean, let me change the language. It's more easier for you. So we just like make this planet's museum bigger. Like now they have 10,000 square meter. And then it used to be Mori Museum for the first year. We had 200, I don't know, 2.3 million people showing up for the first year. We just opened the two museums in one same time. In this one, we could only have 1 million visitors coming. So I think what Aiding have said is quite understandable. We understood it quite enough. So if when we make this space bigger than 10,000 square meter, this hits the Guinness record of having the audience. It's like become 2.5 million people. So even they break the record for this museum. So through this experience, we understand uh big space is quite like quite necessary for us to have, because like I think there's no scientifically proven, but we think if the space is not big enough, I mean space is small, there are the experience can be not free. I mean there may be a certain order that every audience will be follow. I mean, just think about the park or something like that. If the park is too small, the people's behavior is quite limited, right? But when the park size goes bigger than Central Park, then people goes like every year, every day, people doing something different. So there's no such a order, one experience that people needs to follow. So the size is very important, I think. Yeah, but thank you for saying that. So I truly understand and agree. The space is really important now.
Other questions? I don't want to I don't want to shut anybody down. But if there are no other questions, I'll ask another. So when I saw you in the well, no, actually I'm going to go down a more ethereal religious route. One of the exhibits you have in the botanical garden, I think it's in the botanical garden. I could be wrong. It may be in one of the other Tokyo exhibits, is a Zen
Mhm.
garden.
Okay.
You have a Zen garden, which is um, in keeping with Japanese culture. Um, in um, oh, there we are.
I'm not so sure. This is sometimes we do the installation in temple or shrine, but I'm not sure. Zen
Yeah, it's
garden.
okay. So I look at, I mean, because of the lens I bring to the exhibits, I look at light as um, pointing to the spiritual, um,
Mhm.
enlightenment, uh, light of the world, um, light as a metaphor for
Mhm.
the spiritual, the sacred, any of those things. Um, and so I first saw the exhibit, and that's doing things like this with the wall, touching it and having new flowers grow and that kind of thing. To me, it offers a lens on or a metaphor for the sacred that we interact with in human life.
Mm.
And I know that with some of the reviews of Team Lab exhibits, other people just see it as, um, oh, it's a lot of fancy bells and whistles that are going to impress everybody. Um, how does the collaborative think? I mean, somewhere on that spectrum, oh, we're just going to make a lot of bells and whistles to impress the visitors and get more visitors, or we're trying to create an experience that touches into some concept of the sacred in people. Along that spectrum, where does the collaborative kind of hang out?
Can I interrupt for
Mhm.
1 minute? I need to ask Han to go to the Korean channel. He's on the English channel.
Oh,
Thank you.
Mhm. Okay, that's an interesting question. I think mm, it's okay for us to think the people, yeah, some not sometimes, like every time, like when we do the project, I mean some of the people say our project is just an Instagrammable place, like people wants to take a picture and go. And
Yeah,
to
yeah.
to us, I don't really mind as long as if people wants to come to our, people think wants to come to our exhibit because we design the interaction because sometimes the children young young girl bringing their father to come out museum and the father looks like boring and he's spitting on the floor but he didn't he doesn't recognize it as a result there's like flowers around him you know
Yeah.
he's just sitting and watching at the smartphone but he could become one of the beautiful objects so as long as the people come to our exhibit that's enough for us because I think the the biggest motivation of what we are making is we just want to make by ourselves. By making, we learn from the experience by ourselves. So even if we don't have an offer, like we just make in our studio. I mean, I think I can show you one funny, one good example. I mean, even if we don't have an audience, we do the installation sometimes. So what is it? Yeah, it's really during the very beginning of the COVID period. This installation we just named prayer, and then
Yeah.
this is the like non-audience exhibitions. We just make it by ourselves, and our member just spend there and like hanging out with the members, and
Yeah.
sometimes like, it's in secret, but like we just bring our friends and family. So we didn't invite the real audiences, but we just our main motivation is we want to make it, and we want to understand or learn from our experience by making. That's the most important thing for us. So at the end, we are organization, we are company. We need, sell ticket. We need to have audience, of course. And so that's why we always look for sponsors or partner that we can work with. Yeah. So
But
yeah,
but
yeah.
I think it's fascinating that you made one for yourselves, admittedly a small one, but you made one for yourselves that was about prayer or centering or staying grounded in the midst of this chaos that is COVID. Yeah, fascinating. Other thoughts, questions? Um, all right, I am going to ask one more. So, Takeshi and I met last fall when he was recruiting potential interns and employees over at MIT. Um, and I guess what, like, say you're at MIT recruiting, are you looking for people who can just do coding and they're going to work in the coding department? Um, or when you're looking for people, are you looking for a more um, are you looking for a more holistic vision from your staff so that they can understand the interaction of the whole collaborative?
I think we expect, let's say, for the Catalyst member, we appreciate they have a holistic vision for entire project because they will become a hub for those engineers, designers, and animators. It's okay for them to be, tech geek or in their specialties because it's yeah. If we have to select, which types of member like tech geek or who has a holistic vision, I think for engineers and designers, it's okay for them to think about the techniques or skills. But as a result, we have a boss even in the engineering team and designer team. Some of the engineer who doesn't have any interest of art or nothing really, but like he likes to invent the new technologies and skills. So his skill, as a
Yes,
result, makes our experience better.
yes,
So
yes,
it's happy to have both.
Got it. Thank you. Well, Takeshi, I want to thank you again for agreeing to do this. This has just been wonderful. A lot of our people couldn't be here at this hour, but they'll be able to see the video, and we'll edit out the other part. So I ask all of my colleagues to thank you again for this. And I want to just say, people, if you are anywhere on the planet that has a teamLab exhibition, go there. Trust me, it's worth it. And if you have any connections at your local art museum, yeah, think about it. Or if you're on the board, yeah, you consider it.